Deadbolt is a game that got kind of passed by. It was made by Hopu Games, a studio you have probably heard of because they made the extremely successful Risk of Rain games. May they rest in peace. Deadbolt is actually the only non-Risk of Rain game Hopu has made, and that likely fueled part of why so few people know about it. So, I figure I should do the severely underrated gem some justice. This is the basic tutorial level of Deadbolt. You play as the Reaper, a deadly but frail skeletal assassin. This level teaches you the basics of how to play and the first couple enemy types. These enemies are a zombie with a pistol and a zombie with a spoon? Whatever, I don't judge. The art style is most reminiscent of Risk of Rain 1, but has a more in-depth aiming system. You can aim 360 degrees around you, and a good aim pays off. A headshot to these enemies is an instant kill. There isn't too much to say about your house. You can receive weapons from your fireplace, listen to cassettes, and go to Karen's dock for weapons. These weapons cost souls, which you get from completing missions. As you play more levels, your apartment will gradually get more furniture as you settle in. Your fireplace isn't just a thoughtless quest giver, though. It will provide intel, and can even show emotion through how its flames move. My candles tell me tales. Undead form and blossom. Find their abode and knock, and free them from their jails. Your fireplace gives missions in the form of poems. It's an odd method, for sure, but gets the job done, and reveals some information about the mission itself. The enemies here, like in the tutorial, are zombies. They're a gang called the Zombie Kings, doing seemingly pretty generic criminal stuff. A pretty simple mission, just kill all the undead in the house. No new weapons are introduced here, just a good overall introduction mission to get you acclimated. The undead begin to crop, strange powders from below. Incite the flame, eject their brains, and see what it contains. The zombies are using a new drug called ash. Your job is to find out what it is. This level introduces a new enemy type, the Bouncer. The Bouncer is a large enemy armed with a sawn-off shotgun, and it cannot be one-shot headshot with most weapons. After being killed, you can get his gun. Now is probably a good time to mention that the combat in this game shouldn't be treated as combat in most other games. Sure, if you're incredible at aiming and can headshot every enemy in a split second, it can get you out of some sticky situations and even win some levels. However, every gun only has so many bullets, and only has so much capacity to do damage. Instead, you should treat it like solving a puzzle. Death is a surprisingly minor setback, and gives you a lot of capacity to experiment, which you absolutely should. Even if you find a gun you really like from Karen, it simply doesn't have enough ammo to get through a full level, and you have to make use of what you can find lying around. Flesh caskets breathe, burn the ash, scatter their teeth. In smoke signals, there are two buildings connected by a bridge. Your goal is to burn ash scattered around the rooms. Here's a good time to make use of some improvised cover. No moment to flee. He should not be here. A man with a heart cannot live with me. This is your first assassination mission. Your job is to kill an ash dealer named Puff. He's quite a few guards, but also a Tommy gun in his basement, which could come in handy. The gun is next to a bunch of ash, unsurprisingly. Inside his desk there are a bunch of junk papers, but also some addresses where your next mission will take place. Useful. Hellhounds from beneath, bred by the undead. Go stop the weeping and gnashing of teeth. This mission is a kennel for hellhounds, a new enemy type. These are three-headed dogs that will quickly run at you and kill in just one bite. They can't open doors, though, so if you need some breathing space, just close doors behind you. Simply kill all the enemies to move on, but hellhounds will continue to appear in many more levels. My candle is searched, but never returned. Here another new enemy type is introduced. Well, if you count it as an enemy. Security cameras are severed zombie heads strung up on a chain. If you let it get a good look at you, it'll scream and alert its friends. This is one of the only two levels where you start with a gun that isn't your basic revolver, the one you bought. Instead, you have a silenced pistol. This is, fittingly enough, a stealth mission. By now, you'll probably have made minor use of stealth quite a few times, but this is the first level truly dedicated to it. Your actual job will be to find information, but that information is in the form of a dead candle. Candles are the secret operatives of the flames, typically used for collecting information, and you'll see them a few times more. It's dead by the time you find it by closing a note with an address. After taking it, the Reaper will say thanks. This is one of very few times the Reaper speaks throughout the game, and it almost always seems to be during something emotional. Perhaps he had an emotional connection with this particular candle, or maybe all candles in the Reaper are somehow connected on an unknown level, or maybe I'm just reading way too deep into a single word. For whatever reason, the Flames decided not to use a poem this time. This hotel has information on where Roland's Warehouse of Ash is. Roland is the leader of the Zombie Kings, and Roland himself will have to be dealt with later. In my opinion, this is where the game's difficulty starts to ramp up. I died a lot here on my first playthrough, for a few reasons. This level introduces another new enemy type, the Shambler. It wields a small SMG, and has a severed head placed somewhere nearby. It can use this head to see, but shooting it makes for an easy kill. However, your vision of it is often obscured. When it dies, it drops its gun, but only with half ammo. After you kill all the enemies inside the hotel, there will be a few waves of backup you have to fight as well. A couple more levels down the line will use this trick. Their location explained. Burn the ash, burn the dead, and free the souls contained. Destroy a warehouse of ash and burn all the drugs inside. This level introduces two new enemy types, and yeah, I know, I've said that a lot, but I'm done for now. These enemies are the male and female variants of vampires, incubuses and succubuses. The males are armed with a powerful pistol, and the females have dual knives they run towards you with. Neither drop their weapons on death. Vampires are much taller than zombies, which makes getting headshots a lot harder than them. Attempting to lead, his creed to salvation. A man with ambition cannot live with me. The second assassination mission, but this time with a much grander task, to kill the very leader of the Zombie Kings. His compound is heavily guarded, and at the start of the mission he just tells you to go home. There are zombies everywhere and of every type we've seen before. Roland himself isn't defenseless either, with a small SMG like the decapitated zombies use. Nevertheless, after Roland goes down he has a small chance to drop his cassette tape. Cassette tapes drop from different enemies, and give some more insight on the world and the faction they belong to. By this point you could have gotten Zombie 1, Zombie 2, Zombie 3 from Roland, and even Vampire 1 from Supply and Demand. Before the tapes make any sense, though, I have to explain some more about the world the game is set in. It is a vast city-like landscape simply called The Place. It's a limbo between life and the afterlife where some are sent to after they die. How you die determines what undead creature you come back as. For example, zombies died by drug overdose, and vampires died after being betrayed by a lover. It gets a little confusing, but it seems that everything in the place is doomed to die over and over again how they died in the real world. At least, they are until you, the Reaper, sends them to the afterlife. The souls that you get after completing a mission and give to Karen are seemingly the actual souls of enemies you killed, and Karen does the job of bringing them to the afterlife.
I wake up. Cold water. Docks again. Splinters in my hand. Where am I? Roland's here. He helps. He says we leave. Says we don't have to come back to the docks again. He gives me a hit. Good hit. I feel it in my tongue, in my throat, my hands, my feet, in my ears, and I wake up. How much time? Thumping in my ear. Music. I look down, and there's splinters in my hand. Roland's gone. I die again. I overdose again. I wake up. Hands wet. Feet wet. Talks again. I'm in living room. I need more ash. Roland? I hear the music again. I hear yelling. The room fills up with cold water. I splinter and we all overdose again. I wake up, knocking at the door. Roland?
Only Ash helps. Ash brings a bit of Jacob back to me. What happened to Jacob? I remember. He died. He overdosed. My tongue feels heavy in my mouth. Talking is hard. Thinking is hard. Did Jacob pay rent? I shift the shotgun in my hand. Standing is hard. Ronald? Ronald says we shouldn't smoke the ash. He says we need it. He says we can leave soon. I hear scuttling. I fire my gun and splatter Jacob against the wall. I thought it was the Reaper. I'm sorry, Jacob. Thick smoke fills the room, and Jacob's red and yellow and green corpse is gone. Where's Jacob? I want to be Jacob again.
Any day now, he says. The Dredged have a plan. Oh, what is the plan? Sorry, can't tell you. Keep feeding your boys to the Reaper, though, and just sit on the ash. I hope this is worth it. We're moving huge amounts of ash around, and we're losing members left and right to the Reaper. Dark and Stormy said that the ash can be used for more than getting high, but man, was it hard to convince the boys. I just wanted to get everyone to a place where we don't need the high anymore. Somewhere where you feel more alive. We all feeling like shit here. The boys don't know it, but on the day we lost Steven, I took a bump too. We all did. But I'm trying to be stronger. It's not working yet, but I'm trying to be stronger. They need a leader. I hear shifting in my bed. Something woke her up. My phone is ringing. Puff? Man, Puff is always calling me for dumb shit. He gets spooked by everything. Amber speaks up, her voice piercing the silence. Babe, can you turn that off? I reply for whisper. Yeah, sorry, Am. It's just Puff again. Always calling me. I lock the phone and toss it across the dark room. I look back at her pale form. At least there's some benefits from working with the vampires. Still, they give me the creeps. I can't wait till this is all over. Any day now.
Vampire 1 will make more sense after seeing the next mission. Pale moonlight. Touch. No heat. Vampires flock. Find out why. Before I discuss the actual level itself, I really have to talk about the game's music. It was made by Chris Christodoulou, who is quite familiar with Hopu games. He also made the soundtrack for Risk of Rain 2, and Risk of Rain Returns. I'm not very good at talking about music, so I'll just let it speak for itself. The mechanic of hearing music is muffled when outside buildings works quite well, especially for this level as a nightclub blasting music. The music strikes up the right balance between relaxing and stimulating, just enough to let you be calm, but also enough to keep you on your toes. That relates to what is probably the single best tip I can give anybody for playing, and that's to keep your cool. Getting mad doesn't make you better at the game, just guarantees you'll die faster and get even angrier. The game acknowledges this, and will sometimes give you hints after a lot of deaths. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah, the level. The top few floors already have a lot of vampires, even some zombie punks trying to warn about you. But look at the bottom floor and oh no. Well, luckily, you don't need to worry about these vampires, at least not too much. They're too busy dancing to notice you, unless you attack them. So just be careful using weapons in this room, and you should be fine. However, if you really want to, you can activate what I like to call funny mode. If you ever decide to actually play the level, you'll need to kill a few specific vampires to get keycards. After you get all of them, a safe will become available. Not too much of worth is inside.
It's nighttime, but it's always nighttime here. The moon never shines anymore. Not like the night I met him. Not like the night we went home. Not like my last life. The bartender knows me. I've been coming here for weeks, since the day the Bloody Mary opened. Clubs only last a few weeks at best around here. No one really knows why. A man at the bar buys me a drink. It glows like moonlight. I take a sip and I feel the warmth. I shift from one leg to the other. I don't feel like dancing tonight. I take another sip. It's a lot more bitter than I expect. The man at the bar buys me another drink. He scans me, gaze lingering. Oh right, I almost forgot. This is how I died last time. His hands burn where they touch. Let me forget. Please make me forget.
More, so many more. So many corpses who forgot to die. This is another kill all undead mission, but this time a bit different. Your priority targets are the non-dancing vampires. This is a lot easier than usual with a new shotgun scattered around the club. These things seriously pack a punch, but only have 6 shells. After all the normal vampires go down, you can finish the rest with a sledgehammer nearby. This is another new weapon, melee this time. It has a long windup, but can one-shot pretty much anything. The vampires reform. A lounge not too far. Discover their aim, and bring them a storm. You'll have to collect keycards again, but there's a new vampire enemy, the bartender. Bartenders wield shotguns from the previous level and conveniently drop them on death, too. Killing them isn't quite as simple, though. After dying, they will simply come back if their phylactery, a glowing bottle, is still intact. You have to destroy it before they truly die. Once you get all the keycards necessary and open the safe, there's finally some actual information. It's an address near the docks. However, you would do well to remember the phylactery mechanic, as it's going to return a lot. The Flames doesn't use a poem, instead just saying, the goals of undead are always the same. This place is riddled with bartenders, and their phylacteries are near the end of the level. You should expect to have to kill them multiple times. The actual mission itself is to destroy Ash, which this place is full of, much more than the zombies had. At the start, one of the bartenders tells an incubus, protect the Ash, it's worth more than you. They're evidently aware of your arrival. Back home, you actually get a cat after finishing the previous level. Life is not meant to be spent alone, the fireplace says in explanation. Twins lost at sea, of lust and pain. Woman without love cannot live with me. 2 vampire twins each running brothels. They're somehow each other's phylacteries, meaning after one is killed, the other will need to be killed in quick succession afterwards. This level requires a lot more preparation than most. You'll need to clear out the brothels individually and open the vent blocker. It doesn't matter too much which one you do first, you'll just have different weapon and ammo amounts going to the next. After both are cleared, go back to individually kill Amber and Evelyn. Eerily, after dying, one of them will say, too late, haha, the harvest. Odd. The flames stay extinguished. Intel says, a club candles have been investigating has suddenly gone quiet, along with the candles. What happened inside? Beginning the mission. Oh. What happened here? All the vampires returned to blue dust. Ash. This is the harvest Amber and Evelyn were talking about. There's another new vampire here, Nightcrawlers. They look like odd vampire bat hybrids, and wield a deadly suppressed PDW. Like zombie shamblers, they drop down death, but only with half ammo. There's a landmine nearby you can place down, which will help later. After killing all the Nightcrawlers on the first floor, you can take an elevator higher up, where there are bartenders and more Nightcrawlers. Evidently, the bartenders are also higher-ranking officials of the Thousand-Year Royals. Once all the vampires are killed, more reinforcements arrive. That landmine from earlier will help out here. You even have a couple of incubuses and succubuses here. Either they're allowed to know about the harvest, or killing you is just more important than stopping them from knowing. After the reinforcements are dead, you can leave.
We pull up to another club. The music is still playing, but no voices come out. The music pounds in my skull. I'll turn it off as soon as I get inside. Another successful harvest, she would say. Madame Stella says that the ash will help us leave this place. But almost nobody knows that the ash is made from people. From the skeletons and their weird magic. The workers pile out of the car. They've been blinded, so they can't see what happened. One by one, they pile into the club with their shovels and bags and start harvesting the frozen bodies. I promise not to tell. The Stellas would kill me if I did. Last week, Logan blabbed to his girls during pillow talk. Big mistake. He's Ash now. We've all been betrayed before. That's why we're here. What's one more? I just want to secure my trip to hell, one way or another. Can you blame me?
He will know of the key, betrayal of kin. A man without guilt cannot live with me. Sir Stella is the leader of the 1,000-Year Royals. He must know something about the harvest. When you get there, all of his vampires are dead. Sir Stella himself is being confronted by a group of skeletons. A particularly tall one says this. This is another new faction, the Dredged. They have 2 new enemies you'll need to fight, Grunts and Sergeants. Grunts are armed with a powerful assault rifle, and they can kill you in moments. They won't drop it on death. Sergeants have a sledgehammer they will barrel towards you with and swing spinning. They do drop it on death, but I would rarely recommend using it. You'll need to sneak up behind them for it to be effective, which is very rare to happen. After finally getting to Sir Stella, it's too late. He's dead. The tall skeleton that was speaking is nowhere to be seen, just his guards. While going back to your car, more skeletons will appear, but not in their own cars. Instead, they pop up from out the floor. They do this quite often to catch you off guard, so always be cautious, even when a mission seems clear. One last notable thing to mention is that the music playing in this level is the same as the main menu theme. Skeletons are found. No flesh and no love. Stop their harvest, or Ibzan is crowned. There's also another poem here explaining the aforementioned skeleton Ibzan. His heart long gone, Ibzan leads the dredged. You must bring his end. He cannot do it alone. This is a time level, and there isn't much of it. The preparations to convert a club of vampires into ash are here, and the rites are already in effect. There are 3 totems that you'll have just a minute to burn. One immediately at the start of the level, one in the restroom across the building, and one at the roof of the club. If you fail to destroy them in time, everything in the club, including you, is turned into ash. Burning all of the totems in time already isn't easy, but what's even harder is safely evacuating. After the time runs out, a horde of skeletons arrive, expecting to harvest ash. Escaping is practically timed as well, since you'll do best getting out before most of the skeletons get to the club. No forest, a lone tree, kills for her own escape. A woman without guilt cannot live with me. Madame Stella is the now widowed wife of Sir Stella, who has recently taken over control of the 1,000-Year Royals. Her death will shatter the gang and cut off the supply of ash. Similarly to Amber and Evelyn, she has phylacteries. She doesn't have a companion, though, just a lot of bottles like bartenders do. This is probably the single hardest mission so far. She has a lot of phylacteries, almost one in every room. It's heavily guarded, but you can occasionally use this to your advantage. The guards can sometimes be tricked into shooting the bottles themselves. Madame Stella won't have anything to say when she dies. Maybe she believes, even with her death, there is still a chance for the vampire's salvation. She drops a cassette tape after dying.
Oh, I can't wait. This place is filthy. Full of filthy streets and filthy undead and the filthy weather. My husband agrees. We hate this place. My last husband hated it too, but he also hated dancing. I love dancing. He died. Well, my husband before that actually liked the undead. Disgusting, I know. He died too. We try so hard to keep some resemblance of class in this godforsaken hole in the ground. One of the night crawlers knocked on our bedroom door, even though we've told them time and time again to never step in the house. Disgusting. My husband opens the door, and I hear an exchange, hushed but excited. Must be another successful harvest. He closes the door and walks back towards his desk, trying his hardest to keep his smile hidden. We're only a couple harvests away to having enough ash.
Oh, I wonder how the other place is like. Does it rain there? How warm is it? The dredge say it's so warm there. I can't wait to lay in the sun again.
Candles do not know. The skeletons aim. Go and peer inside. Their precious cargo. The skeletons are clearly at the top of the whole ash trade. Candles have reported a large group of them near the docks. A nice thing you might notice from this level is that traveling in vents reveals weapons. It does not, however, reveal enemies. In my opinion, the music doesn't work too well for this level. The system of it being muffled while outside doesn't really work here, as there is only a single small building in the mission that you'll spend about 5% of your time in maximum. Here the bolt action rifle is introduced. It's a slow firing but very hard hitting sniper that you'll find on top of a crane. It especially excels with long range. After investigating the cargo container, there will be more skeletons to deal with as you return to the car, similarly to the introductory level. Before the level begins, some information is given on the skeleton's lore. Those who take their own life come back as skeletons, destined forever to roam this place. When killed, grunts have a chance to drop a cassette tape, and will have this to say.
Cold. It's so bitterly cold. In locks of my patrol, I'd dancing across the waves, the cold bit at my exposed bones. I pry out of the pavement. The humidity near the dock suits my feet to the ground. I can see her Ibzan in the other room, who telling the shamans about the land of warmth and the ash and the portal and blah 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 blah. Don't I think it's bullshit? We are all so cold. The idea of a warm place is so inviting. More flesh, you'd say. We need more for the portal. It's so close, my brothers. We will soon be embraced by his warmth, for he loves every one of us. It's so cruel, isn't it? I want to die, and I still do. But I can't. I have no brain to destroy, nor nerves to sever. The generals will assemble me as soon as I rip myself apart. Or is it so goddamn cold?
Skeletons have perhaps the most tortured existence, constantly fighting a bitter cold. The place clearly isn't cold at all, as some zombies are fine to go shirtless. All of the skeletons wear some sort of coat, with sergeants even wearing ushankas. They visibly exhale cold air, too. It feels bad to fight skeletons, knowing what they go through, but at least you might be giving them some relief. They climb to the sky, scouting for reapers. Do not let them build. They will fly too high. As the poem says, the skeletons are building a tower to spot you from. If you don't take it down now, it'll likely compromise your other missions. The tower is being built by technicians, a new type of skeleton that uses a grenade launcher and will plant mines when spooked. They have infinite mines, and will just keep placing more until they die. Because of this, it's good to kill them as quickly as you can after they notice you. Quite annoyingly, they'll block off locations with their mines and their bodies will block the clear line of fire to destroy it. I did really bad on this particular level. I'd attribute it to a single specific part, but ultimately, I just got mad like I mentioned earlier. Again, I truly cannot stress enough how important it is to stay calm while playing. Eventually, I finally had gotten it. Then I accidentally used the wrong staircase and... Generals, unchained! Corpses to surface. Find those who have drowned, and drown them again. 2 bars full of skeletons. Clear them both out. Not much to be said about either bar individually, but going from the first to the second is actually a small transition. Even if you have an item in both slots, you'll only ever carry over one. Also, dying won't reset the whole level like usual, just spawn you at the entrance to the bar. There is a new enemy when you go back to the first bar again. Generals. They're the last enemy in the Dredge faction. Generals don't use any conventional weaponry, but have the ability to turn you into ash if you give them the chance. They'll also revive previously killed skeletons. Generals drop cassette tape and will have this to say.
Another one. Thank God, another dead one. It starts as a dull chill originating from my right shoulder. The feeling grows towards my hands, skin tight against the bone. The feeling grows more. A searing, hot pain in the contrast to the frigid air. Suddenly, the cold exits in a brilliant blue flash from my fingertips. An Albina is reconstructed where she last died. Miraculously, the cold subsides for a moment. What a relief. God, that warmth. I know Albina didn't want to be reconstructed. She shoots daggers from empty sockets, but the cold was too much to bear. I almost feel sorry and begin to... Oh, is that another body?
Around Ibzan, coils. Undead forgotten. Open their coffins, uncover their spoils. There are more generals in this mission. They'll walk towards destroyed skeletons, even if they didn't see them die. This works pretty well to lead them out. Once the skeletons are gone, you'll have clear access to a cargo container holding something vital to the skeletons. Opening the container, you'll find it's full of bodies. The Reaper speaks here again. corpses? I should tell the boss. Maybe his candles know something. Clearly, P is quite desensitized and very emotionless to have this little reaction. Timur is free. He knows the purpose of flesh. A man with desire cannot live with me. Timur the Tinker is an engineer that knows something about the bodies and their purpose. He is very crafty, but above all else, incredibly paranoid. He's placed traps all over his home, and you should watch your step before taking any. Do it? Oh, okay, I trust that. He doesn't just understand traps, he understands your abilities as well. Vents around his house are often marked as if he knows you can use them and will lead you into traps. Eventually, if you can avoid his traps and guards, you'll be led to a room that has the words "Good Luck Reaper" scrawled in red lettering. The dimly lit room is filled with light switches, and although Timur is in the room just to the right of you, walking into it will kill you. One light switch, though, will lead a cable into Timur's room, and in his safe, you'll find, well, something disturbing, to say the least. I have been watching him in his warmth. What if I immolate myself in his fireplace? Could I find warmth then? Immolation was unsuccessful. I am still Timur. I will become a Reaper and live forever and find warmth from the fire just as he has. Timur was obviously trying to become a Reaper like you, desperate for warmth. In his last note, maybe the most disturbing of all, there's a blueprint for some sort of portal using body parts. That's why the skeletons had so many corpses. It might be easy to write him off as deranged, but in his situation, is there anything else to do? Demons, they cross the river. Ibzan feels the flame. Hire help from beyond. Demons are not dead, but die just the same. Ibzan's car is being serviced at a garage, defended heavily by demons. Demons are the final enemy faction, and have all their enemy types introduced at the same time. Cardinals use flaming baseball bats, seemingly imbued with fire from when they swing. Maidens have a dangerous burst rifle that they drop on death, and have the same health as Cardinals. Their gun only has half ammo and pickup. Patriarchs are hulking demons with a massive health pool and equally massive guns. I'm not even talking about the minigun they use. Disappointingly, it isn't dropped on death, but I mean, good luck carrying its stick-ons. They take time to wind up, which is best used for finding cover before they blow you away. Demons aren't actually from the place, rather they are literal demons from hell that crossed the River Styx to get here. Although Ibzan definitely paid them to be here, I imagine it didn't have to be much. Many of the demons were likely sent to hell by your hand and wanted revenge. Ibzan's car is at the top of the garage with an address taped to it, his house. The demons only have one cassette tape.
Splish splash the dingy rocks, we fit 15 in a boat meant more for two. Splish splash, we hit an old post in the dark, and Goroduth careens over the edge into the cold dark depths below. We gotta leave him behind, he's Karen's now. Splish splash, Ulk pulls the dingy up to the shore. Karen can't see us here so far from the docks. She lets out a sigh of relief. We all clamber over the edge, boat swaying as if it's relieved of demons and ammunition and weaponry. The cold sand is inviting. While none of us would admit it, we were terrified of the deadly dark of the Styx, and of Karen. We've all heard the songs in the birthing chambers. Wait, you haven't? Seriously? Splish, splash, in the Styx we go. Karen's coming, swim real slow. Splish, splash, in the Styx we go. Mom is not watching, she doesn't know. Splish, splash, in the Styx we go. One by one he throws. Splish, splash, in the Styx we go. Always remember that we jumps, though. Something like that.
His home is exposed. Find the portal, prove him mortal, and leave him decomposed. Ibzan's apartment should have information about the flesh portal and its whereabouts. There are a ton of demons here, but you have a special weapon to fight them. A powerful 6-shot grenade launcher. It's easily the strongest weapon in the game, and absolutely necessary for getting through the first room. There's a table, a chair, some windows and candles, his bed, safe, and something painted over it. The room feels truly empty and sad. His safe will have this.
I caught a candle outside. He knows. The candle died before I could find out more.
Also, a little old lighter. Just junk. She paints with such glee. A splattered canvas. A woman of vision. Cannot live with me. Before we can do anything else, the snipers mentioned in Ibzan's note must be dealt with. Specifically, a demon sniper named Val. Once she's dead, her position can be used by candle snipers to help in the coming mission. Val is actually in a different building to the one that you're entering, likely because hers is too fortified. The Flames even seem to have some admiration for her, considering how it describes her as a painter. This mission will have a unique danger. Val will try and shoot at you as you progress. It might seem safe to just keep moving forward, but she leads her shots and many will still kill you. Luckily, she won't be able to see you if the room is dark, so turn off as many light switches as possible. After going up an elevator and clearing out some more enemies, you'll have access to a sniper rifle and be able to turn the tables. You get an achievement for headshotting every enemy in the building, but it's hard to time it properly. The bullet will take a moment to hit after you fire, much like Val's did. Your final mission. Ibzan must be stopped. As the mission starts, he's already going through the portal with the skeletons. We'll have to follow him through. The candles have sniping positions, but only a handful of bullets. At the top of the first building, there's an armory with... Whoa, okay. 2 sawn-off shotguns, 2 Tommy guns, 2 bolt-action rifles, 2 Uzis, 2 pump-action shotguns, 2 burst rifles, 2 grenade launchers, 2 9mm pistols, 6 10mm pistols, and 2 shurikens. I have absolutely no idea why this is all here. It is excessively overkill. This level is already made a lot easier by the candle snipers, but now it just becomes a cakewalk. Going to activate the portal, this will happen. The environment is unlike anything we've seen yet. It's night, at least presumably it is. There's a street light and cubes floating in the sky. Honestly, I'm not sure exactly where or what this is, but what we're about to find might give us a hint. This thing, though scary, is our employer, the Flames. If it wasn't already clear, the creature makes it obvious who it truly is in its dialogue. He is already here. He cannot be free. I cannot forgive. A man undead cannot live with me. As promised, Ibzan and his followers are already in the cabin. It only takes 2 headshots from the revolver to bring him down, but he isn't dead yet. He just respawns in a different part of the cabin with more skeletons to back him up. You start with the basic revolver at the start of the mission, no matter what gun you purchased or found in the last segment. All of the other weapons or items you could have purchased and possibly made major use of from Karen. These are Death and Taxes, the Revenant, the Headhunter, the Scythe, and another basic revolver. Death and Taxes is just a dual-wielded revolver, and I use it for most of my playthrough. The Revenant is a high-damage, piercing revolver, but it's loud and only has 5 bullets. Similarly, the Headhunter is a massive damage revolver when you hit headshots. The Scythe is a large melee weapon with surprising speed, but it can't be thrown. This probably seems like a lot, but with the Ibzan and his not insignificant amount of skeletons, you will likely find yourself using a lot of ammo. This mission truly is the perfect culmination of the whole game. It expertly uses difficulty, music, ammo management, and a bit of luck. Ibzan himself shouldn't be underestimated. Just one quick shot from this powerful revolver is all it takes to kill you, and he runs extremely fast to get to you. He is strong, but not immortal. So, What exactly just happened? Who is Ibzan? Why was he here and what was he trying to do? Who is the Reaper? Let's start with Ibzan. He has a chance to drop a cassette tape on death, so let's listen.
I stumble through the door, slamming it against the wall. Cold. I fall to my knees and the floor splinters where I land. Cold. Where is he? I feel for the light switch on the wall, hands groping. Where was it again? My fingers find their mark and I flick it on. The fluorescent lights spark to life, buzzing. My heart drops through the fucking floor and I lose it forever. Where's the fireplace? It was here, wasn't it? It's just wall. It was here. He was here. I start clawing, razor-sharp bones raking the plaster apart. It was here. I'm so cold. I need my friend. My fingers find a weakness and bust through. Ah, there you are.
Ibzan clearly lost something valuable to him before all of this, but what was it? Well, let's see if we can find out. But something you may have noticed watching this video, and definitely noticed while actually playing Deadbolt, is that Ibzan seems quite similar to you. He has the teleportation-like ability you have moving through plumbing and ventilation systems as seen when he is attacked. He has similar facial features to you. That little old lighter from his house wasn't just junk. When going into vents, you click open your own lighter. He bleeds black blood, same as you do. That friend he was talking about, and what was behind that plaster was the flames. Ibzan was a Reaper just like you are. Ibzan, for whatever reason it may be, chose to end his own life. He probably felt that the reality of being a Reaper was too much to bear, but quickly realized that the reality of being a skeleton was even worse. Well, we know who he is and what he did, but what business did he have with the flames now? Ibzan says this while fighting him. This is obviously just a ploy and Ibzan simply wants to kill the flames, is what you might think, but he really does just want to talk. A note in his safe reads this.
I have tried everything. I feel so cold. I just want to talk. I understand now. I regret it. I just want to apologize.
Ibzan regrets committing suicide. Everything he did. The clubs, the ash, the bodies, the skeletons, the demons. It was all just to come here and apologize. Killing Ibzan didn't save the flames. His death just stopped it from ever knowing Ibzan was sorry. That was depressing, and I'm sad now. Let's talk about something else before being sad again. Hard mode is kinda ridiculous. It doesn't change level layouts, weapon or enemy health, nor damage, but it does change enemy and weapon placement. Not only change, but also add. You can probably see why this is so torturous. I actually completed hard mode before I made this video, so I didn't get any footage of it, but believe me, it was not easy. It actually doesn't even give me achievements or anything, so I don't really know why I did that. But there is one good reason for why I did. There's another cassette here, and it's quite odd. You can only get it in hard mode, and it isn't dropped by enemies. Rather, it's behind the cabin at the end of the game. Another day of work. It's pouring out, and the rain soaks my coat. I go to open the door to my apartment, but it's slightly stuck. For hell's sake, I mutter under my own breath. A few good shoulder nudges finally prise the door open, and it swings into the side of my hallway. The room is pitch dark, as usual, and dead empty. The fireplace is off. Damn, I was hoping my friend would be here tonight. I've never been much of an interior decorator, but this is a bit dry. I suppose I don't need much to live. I don't need to eat or drink, and I can't sleep. I still bought a bed anyway. It wasn't until after I got it that I remembered I had no eyelids to close, so now I just stare into the ceiling while... Is that mold growing again? How long have I been in this place? Months? Years? Decades? Every day is the same. I go out and kill undead and go home and stare at that mold. My friend says nothing to me, just more missions. At least the mold gets to grow and change, slowly inching towards... the fireplace? Is it... Oh wait, it's not on. Damn, I thought I saw you. The flames didn't want you to have that. This cassette is either from Ibzan before his suicide, or from our Reaper. If it was the latter, that means our Reaper is quite old, and probably experiencing some amnesia to not remember this, or at least remember it little enough that the flames would try and hide it from him. I'm more inclined to believe it's from Ibzan, because of how the flames are referred to as a friend in the description of a bland room. Not to mention a bed, which Reaper only gets later on. The flames probably didn't want you to have this cassette and form dissenting thoughts, risking what happened to Ibzan happened to you. Whew, thank you so much for sticking around through easily my longest video yet. I would highly recommend getting Deadbolt if this video has made you interested at all in it. It goes on sale fairly often, and even when it's not on sale, it's only $10. It also has custom levels of varying quality, to be honest, but it could absolutely use more. As always, thanks to my loyal patrons. These videos would not be possible without them.